Planting the faith seed. There comes a moment in life when a person realizes they are no longer waiting for life to happen to them. They begin participating consciously in who they are growing into, not performing, not pretending, not surviving emotionally from moment to moment, but deliberately planting within themselves the kind of life they desire to experience externally. That is where the journey begins, with a seed. Most people only honor growth once it becomes visible. They celebrate the bloom, but overlook the planting. They admire the confidence without understanding the years of internal cultivation beneath it. They admire peace without understanding how much emotional composting had to occur for someone to arrive there. But consciousness works like nature. Before anything blooms visibly, something first must be planted invisibly. Human consciousness is a living garden. Thoughts are seeds, attention is water, emotions shape climate, repeated behaviors condition the soil, relationships influence the ecosystem, and over time, what is repeatedly planted begins to bloom visibly through personality, behavior, emotional atmosphere, relationships, opportunities, and the lived reality itself. This is why two people can exist in the same environment while experiencing life completely differently. They are cultivating different ecosystems internally. One person may be watering resentment daily, while another is deliberately nurturing peace. One may be planting fear, while another is planting discipline. Eventually, both gardens bloom honestly. What many people call the law of attraction is often the first visible mini bloom of these faith seeds growing within consciousness. Attraction is not simply magic appearing from nowhere. It is often the visible evidence that the internal alignment is beginning to organize external experiences. Certain opportunities begin appearing, certain conversations feel different, certain patterns repeat themselves, certain environments suddenly resonate with the person one is growing into. The bloom appears externally because something has already started changing internally. What we must consider is that many faith seeds die during what I call the aggravation stage. This is the stage where a person begins seeing other people living the very life they desire. Peaceful relationships, emotional stability, confidence, purpose, financial security, creativity, freedom, and instead of inspiration, the experience creates irritation, comparison, envy, and emotional resistance. Most people think aggravation means they are failing spiritually or emotionally. I do not see it that way. I believe aggravation is often the loom of human consciousness, flagging an unfinished internal pattern. Something inside recognizes the bloom but has not fully aligned with it yet. The discomfort is not always punishment. Sometimes it is revelation. And this is where consciousness begins transforming. A person slowly moves from resentment into awareness, from awareness into understanding, from understanding into agreement. But they begin saying eternally, I recognize this bloom. This mirrors the atmosphere I desire to cultivate within myself. Instead of fighting what they see, they learn from it. Instead of rejecting the bloom, they begin aligning with it emotionally. Agreement changes the ecosystem. The moment a person can genuinely encourage, celebrate, or feel peace while witnessing someone else living the life they desire, something profound begins happening internally. The soil softens, the climate changes, the resistance weakens. The consciousness begins recognizing itself around resonance instead of separation. Beneath all of this is what I call the loom of human consciousness. The loom is the intelligence that weaves together thoughts, emotions, memory, experiences, behaviors, and perception into recognizable patterns. The warp is the deeper structure of identity, values, and fundamental beliefs. The weft is the movement of daily experiences, emotional reactions, conversations, environments, and the choices weaving through that structure repeatedly. The loom is constantly recognizing patterns. It notices what you repeatedly fear. It notices what you repeatedly nurture. It notices what you emotionally agree with. It notices what you resist. And over time, the ecosystem blooms according to those repeated woven patterns. Even words themselves function as seeds. This is why certain words feel alive when spoken. Two people can hear the exact same message while receiving completely different levels of understanding. One person hears information, another hears transformation, another hears conviction, another hears healing. The difference is not always the word itself. It is the condition of the internal ecosystem receiving the word. This is what I understand utterance to be. When words move beyond sound and become alive within consciousness. When a word pierces through emotional climate, internal assumptions, memory, identity, and perception in a way that reorganizes the listener internally. Some words merely communicate, other words plant living seeds. And maybe that is where real transformation begins, not with forcing yourself to become someone else overnight, but with consciously planting different seeds, protecting the internal ecosystem they are growing within, learning how to recognize aggravation without surrendering to it, learning how to agree with healthy blooms instead of resisting them, learning how to cultivate an atmosphere within yourself that could sustain peace once it arrives. Because eventually, the garden tells the truth. Whatever is consistently planted, watered, emotionally reinforced, and woven into consciousness long enough blooms, and that bloom becomes the life the person lives. This is Tap In, the Alignment Protocol podcast. Alignment is not perfection, it is conscious cultivation.